Hi, everyone. Dorothea Hendriks here, your communication coach in presentation skills and in public speaking. A quote. I'm going to share this quote with you by Harper Lee. She was an American novelist, and this is her quote. Real courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and see it through no matter what. Real courage is when you know you're licked before you even begin. But you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. That quote, when I found that quote, it took me back a number of years. And I'm going to share this story with you because I knew I was licked. I knew I was licked, but I began anyway, and things happened. It was a number of years ago when I was still in Toastmasters International, and I used to enter competitions, and I won a lot of competitions. This competition was toward the World Championship of Public Speaking, and I was just at the level before that big competition. And at that point, I had no speech. I should have had a speech. I should have had something prepared. I had a lot of friends and associates, giving me ideas, helping me. But for some reason, I was stuck. I was stuck. I had never had a really good relationship with my father, and I felt that I had something of value to say about relationships, about the daughter-father situation. And that's what I was going to talk about. Under the umbrella of communication, being open, asking questions, looking at forgiveness, doing introspection, but it all had to do with words, communication. So I have this presentation. Inside, I know it's not a barn burner, but I feel compelled that I have to give it. The announcer calls my name, gives my title, and I walk up the stage. And there I am. I turn around. I look at the audience. I don't know, maybe 300, 400 people. I look at the audience and I realize I'm not in the right place. It was the most bizarre feeling I've ever, ever experienced standing in front of a room. It was like I shouldn't have been there, but I was there. And I knew that this was not the right place for this presentation, but I thought I'm going to start and I'm going to move through it. As Harper Lee says, keep going, no matter what. And as I began that presentation, and I could hear myself, and I looked out, and of the few people that I could see in the front rows, I couldn't see the back because the auditorium was dark. In the front rows, there was no energy. There was no connection. You know how, as a speaker, you get to feel your audience. You can feel the energy, even if you can't necessarily see them. You know you've got them on track. I didn't have these people on track. In fact, I had no track. But I keep speaking. And as I'm moving, I can hear the floorboards, something underneath the stage, creaks. With every step I take, creaks. I couldn't hear the audience even breathe. I couldn't hear anything. It was silence and just my movement across the stage until I was done. I heard the applause. I walked off, and I was so disappointed in myself, but I didn't know what else to do. I was the only one that had prepared that presentation. I knew it wasn't the barn burner that I wanted it to be, but I felt compelled to do it. So there we are. I knew it wasn't going to fly, but I kept going. And I saw through. Anyway, at the end of it, when there was intermission before they announced the winners, and I'll give you a heads up, no surprise, I was not one of the top three. But I did have some people come to me and tell me, how impressed they were with my presentation, how it meant something to them, how they thought, that it was eye-opening for them and it had value for them. I didn't have a lot of people, but I did have some people come up, and that kind of warmed my heart a little bit. But I have to say, I was so disappointed, and I just went and got some wine, cried, and drank myself for the rest of the evening, drank to myself, and then went for a walk with a friend, lamenting about my loss. Oh ho, boo hoo. Now, a number of years have passed, maybe 7, 8 years, and I'm at another Toastmasters convention, not speaking this time, but I'm helping out. I might be emceeing, I'm doing something, and I walk over to a group of dignitaries, and this woman reaches out to me, and she says, "I just want to say thank you." I didn't know who she was. She introduced herself. And then she told me how what I had said, that speech way back many years ago, how that had affected her, impacted her life, and what a difference my words made. To say that my heart was exploding is an understatement. To say that I felt on cloud nine wouldn't even begin to describe my reaction and how I felt. Because I walked away thinking, no matter how we feel, our words, once we open our mouth and they're out there, we have no idea on the impact they will have, on whose ears they will hit, and our words will resonate and make a difference in their life. And that's what we're looking for. Maybe my words didn't resonate with a lot of people. I didn't climb onto the winning platform, but it was a huge win for me. And she wasn't the only one. I had other people come up to me at different points to comment on that presentation that in terms of winning went nowhere, but in terms of impacting went somewhere. So the quote by Harper Lee holds so true. Real courage is when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and see it through no matter what. Until next time, this is Dorothea Hendriks wishing you mountains of success.